prosecution.
Hey there, it's BitB, and welcome out to another BitB stream. Thanks for coming out. It is Saturday, and we are playing a new game. Well, old, anyway. No, we're playing Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney Investigations. So anyway, how you guys doing tonight? Are you enjoying times? I hope you're having a good time. I don't know. Right now, there's kind of like this really weird winter cluster going on in the area that I'm currently in. So there is an absolute crap load of nonsense going on, and just I've seen cop cars going by all day, and it's just kind of unnerving. That's just stuff on my end. But anywho's, we are going to begin in just a little bit here. But before we do, I have a little bit of an announcement, pseudo-announcement. I don't know. And it's kind of, it's just a nice little upgrade. Something that I should have done a very long time ago, and that is, I've upgraded the 3DS layout. Jeez, finally. Funny enough, I talked about the fact that I was planning on updating the 3DS layout a long time ago, but I never got around to doing it because bored. I don't even know. But I don't know. I wasn't all that fond with it for the longest time, and slowly but surely we're starting to kind of grow out of it. Or, yeah, how about I just go ahead and show you what I did? For comparison, let's go ahead and head over to the old 3DS screen. There we go. Now, this is the one that we've been using for all of the games involved with the Phoenix Wright and the Ace Attorney stuff. And, I mean, it works, but the problem is, it doesn't look very good. I mean, I'm just going to say that flat out. Like, it's never really looked any good. This is kind of like the temporary thing I had set up a long time ago, and I never got around to fixing it. That overlap between the bottom screen and the top screen, it doesn't do anything with the games right now. Like, not at the moment, because, I mean, I've been playing a whole bunch of Phoenix Wright remakes and stuff like that, where the definitions were more square, you know, to fit the DS, and then they just widened it out for the 3DS. But by extension, they didn't put anything on those edges, so for the longest time, I haven't had a need to upgrade the layout, but eventually I'm going to play a 3DS game on here, and eventually something's going to cover up that corner, and somebody is going to, like, you guys are going to miss a real important little bit of the game that I saw that you didn't. And I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to do that. So here is what I did instead. This is the brand new layout. What do you think? Look good? Look bad? I think it looks pretty good. No, I stream at 1280, 720. I was trying to do the math and figuring out, okay, so how big can I make the bottom screen and make it, like, pixel perfect? And then how big can I make the top screen after expanding it to cover the rest of it? And this is what I came up with. And oddly enough, this is very similar to a lot of the other people that I've seen stream 3DS games. So it's like, oh, okay. All right, that totally works. Math-wise, I guess this is the most effective setup for a 3DS stream. Now, I don't know. This is extremely subtle. I would not be surprised if you can't even tell. You can tell a lot better on a 1920 by 1080 screen. One of the special things I did was that I incorporated the box wall background into the footage itself. What do I mean by that? Here. Now you can actually see that the blocks on the block wall, if you look very carefully, they're actually passing into the footage itself, like the footage of the bottom screen. Like they're in a 3D environment, and the footage of the top screen and the bottom screen are in that 3D environment. And I don't know, I really like this little setup. That's one of the reasons why it took me so long to figure this thing out, because I'm just like, how do I make this work? I mean, I like the box wall, but it's kind of empty. Not much going on. So, what if we did something like this? There we go. Just a little bit of my own branding, and then we got ourselves a Miles Edgeworth sitting on the screen, judging us. I like that. It kind of fills up the void, but it keeps the box wall going. I enjoy. Now, I haven't put anything on the bottom screen for this stream, but that's on purpose, and I will show you in a sec. Let's boot into the game. How about that? And then give it a second, because it's rebooting into DS mode. There we go. Now, you might have noticed it already, but give it a sec. There we go. Let's pick new game real quick. Now, you'll notice that when we boot into this whole DS layout instead of the 3DS layout, suddenly these big old bars show up on the left and the right side of the screen. And there's like kind of completely destroying and defeating this whole form factoring, perfect framing thing that I had going on. And technically speaking, like, this will work. You know, I'm sure that eventually people will stop giving two shits about the thing. You know, like, I watch YouTube videos all the time in, like, theater mode, so this kind of thing doesn't bother me all that much. But I don't know. I wanted to kind of, out of my own perfection, I kind of wanted to make it form factor. But then I found out that apparently, if you get rid of the box wall in the, you know, the bottom left, basically at the bottom of the screen, and just expand out the window, suddenly the top screen takes up the entirety of this, like, perfectly, 100%. Like, no stretching involved. I didn't need to do anything like that. Aspect ratio, perfect. Like, I couldn't have worked it out better if I actually had a plan. But anyways, episode 1, Turnabout Visitor. I'm curious. March 14th, 11:16 a.m. Who the hell knows? To make sure the defendant is found guilty, what other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. Wait. That may be true, but why? Why go this far? Who are these two? Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough, but a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. Oh boy. No matter what the cost. Oh, did you murder him in my office? Who are you? I'm a prodigy among prosecutors. Always have been, always will be. Righto. Music's a little bit loud. I might want to lower it just a little bit. Let me try it. I'm going to say right here. March 14th, 2:05 a.m., Prosecutor's Building, 11th floor hallway. I heard that this thing had sprites. Weird. It's hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. I think the music's actually pretty good here. Here, I can't actually talk while I'm listening to my own audio at like a delayed. What was it called? Like a speech jammer. That's essentially what it is. It's just I'm listening to my own voice, except slightly delayed, and it hurts. There we go. And let me lower it down in the earbuds, because now it's a little loud. There we go, ready to go. So, yes, Edgeworth. Edgeworth is back. Let me redo that. It's hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. I hope Detective Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office and keeping it clean. The door's unlocked. Oh dear. Detective Gumshoe. What's that smell? It's very familiar. Blood! Oh dear. We're going to have a Mia situation. It's weird that there's sprites now. What the? What's the meaning of this? Phrase! Uh-oh. I didn't do it! Sup? Hey. Identify yourself. Okay, according to those question marks, he will not. Shut up. You've got some nerve committing murder in a prosecutor's office. Asshole! Is that a threat? That was my best suit, damn it. Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. Wow. You're just not going to do anything to me? Okay, whatever. My name is Miles Edgeworth, and I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would be thrust into a multitude of cases and some very frantic and busy days. March 14th, 2:56 a.m. High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. Oh, dears. And I'm sure they all think I did it. I swear to God on my life, I did not. I finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Very well. Please continue your investigation. Yes, sir. It's weird. I knew it would be very, very different. Like, I'm not used to all of this animation type of stuff going on. I'm used to this in court, not here. Ah! Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Are you okay, sir? Keep it down, detective. This is a crime scene. Gumshoe, what are you doing? When I heard that a murder had taken place in your office, I ran up here straight away. This is Dick Gumshoe. He's a detective with the local precinct. And the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. You're looking a little pale, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine. However... Look what they did to your office. It's totally trashed. I'll say. The culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. No one gets away with tracking mud into my office. Whoa, sounds like you're getting really burned up over this whole thing. There's a dead man sitting next to my books. Yes. This crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it. Oh, that's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, time to do some investigating. Agreed. Our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. We must not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. So I'll keep any leads or information we find etched in the forefront of my mind. Can I also get a court record, please? Speaking of things that pique my curiosity, why of all places did the murder occur in my office? Okay, crime scene, my office. Is it really a coincidence that the murder took place in my office? Nope, absolutely not. I get the nagging feeling that this is something important to keep in mind. Real quick, I'm going to check the audio again. Just because this is kind of a loud song. Hello, Miles Edgeworth. That's not bad. No. Not too loud, not too quiet. I'm just worried that I'm going to run into like a really, really loud sequence. Again, I have not tested this ever. Cool. Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you? No, not really. Especially because of this. The key to your office. Yes. How did you manage to get that? Did he pickpocket it off of you, Gumshoe? Check your pockets. What do you mean, sir? If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you. Logic? What is this logic? That's about that facial expression I expect. By finding the connection between two pieces of information and connecting them, new information is born. That is the end result of using logic. Kind of sounds like scientific, well, I don't know, what was it called? Like scientific... basically just using science to kind of pinpoint the answer. You don't really have the answer, but you got a good idea of it. So, how to use it? First, I recall information through the logic button, and then connect them together. Now to touch the logic button and recall the facts. Neato. Logic. Psychics. Crime scene, my office. And the office key. So, can I... That's weird. Oh, okay. And so you get a health bar, so you can't just spam the shit out of it. Gotcha. And I'm guessing this is the freebie, so yeah. Connect them. For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks, which means it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of the crime as more coincidence.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir.
You weren't thinking anything. You literally needed to have logic explained to you. There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? It's a shame I didn't look closer at his face.
You really are... You're really on the ball today, Mr. Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir.
Yes, well, when you follow leads to their conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray far from the truth as well. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we?
Yes, sir.
Begin investigation.
The basics of any good investigation is to examine everything, sir.
I know that, and when I want to examine something, I simply touch the examine button.
Oh, if you ever feel lost and want to talk, just touch the partner button, okay? I'll give you great, precise advice as an ace investigator, sir.
Oh, something to try later if I have free time, I suppose. Or if I get stuck. Hey, look, I'm Shu. Okay, now real quick, I'm actually going to adjust my windows here. Yeah, just because I've readjusted the setup just a tad bit. There we go. I'll readjust myself. This is an ever so slightly different setup when it comes to my regular old Windows layout as well. I don't know. Anyways, shouldn't be too hard. So this is the office. I see we have a gun on the floor. Here, I just want to examine this. What have we here? Could this perhaps be the murder weapon? If so, it would mean the killer made their escape after disposing of the gun here.
I think I've seen one of those before.
Care to enlighten me as to where?
No, I know. I was issued the exact same model. I think.
Detective.
I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're really dangerous. But now that I think about it, you do see the model around the precinct a lot, sir. I don't use mine much except in emergencies, so that's why I don't recognize it.
So it's the same type of revolver as one used by the precinct's detectives. Okay. So when are we going to finally have some, some actual people to pin it on is what I want to know. Okay, so we have ourselves this.
Ouch, they even knocked over your chess set! I had it all set up, ready for when you got back. I figured we could play a few games.
I had no idea you were interested in chess.
I'm actually pretty good at checkers, so I thought I'd give chess a try.
In that case, I suppose I can set some time aside after we solve this case. Though I don't expect the games to tax my mental equity much.
Jesus.
Miles, why must you have such a large vocabulary? Alright, so nothing over here. This bastard shot my suit. I hope we can solve this case quickly. I'd like to return to relaxing on this sofa.
That thing looks a billion times softer than my mattress at home.
Yep, because I've got prosecutor money.
Can I sit on it too? Just for a little while, sir.
Detective Gumshoe, you know I can't allow that. Until this case is solved, neither of us have time to spare, let alone rest.
You're right, sir. I'm gonna work hard and be a real trooper to the end.
Even once this case is over, I don't think he can afford to take any time off. Nope. Okay, so talk with you then. How's it coming along? Please, I need absolute silence. Fingerprint lifting is a delicate art. Well, I never. I'm plenty silent, you buffoon. Is this yet another batch of fresh flowers?
The ones that come with a card attached every month, like clockwork for you, yup. Speaking of that, let's see what's on the card this month, sir. All will be resolved, Wendy.
Oh, Miss Irony, how painful are thy thorns?
Wendy? Isn't that the name of that old lady with the whiny voice that's stalking?
That's enough, detective. You need not remind me further. Old bag! Jeez. What's going on here? Well, it's a good thing my steel samurai doll was spared any... Why do you have... Jesus, you're supposed to be a professional prosecutor. I mean, I know knickknacks is such a thing, but really?
Speaking of which, I still haven't actually sat down and watched any of that show. What's it about again?
A steel samurai, I'd assume. Well, I don't know much about it myself, but... The hero of the Steel Samurai, warrior of Neo Tokyo, is the Steel Samurai. And his goal is to defeat the evil magistrate. It's a show geared towards the kids. However, its high production values are riveting plot draws in a number of adults as well. Spin-offs like Pink Princess, Warrior of Little Old Tokyo, and The Nickel Samurai, along with the deluge of merchandise and even a new stage show gives it presence.
You sure know a lot. Are you sure you're not some sort of rabid fanboy?
Of course not! Anyone that keeps up with society knows at least this much. And that conversation lasted longer than expected. Let us return to the investigation. No, I swear to God, I don't have a Steel Samurai Dakimakura. Shut your mouth!
Oh, it's your trophy, the, Knights of Prosecutors, right?
King of Prosecutors? And it's not a trophy, it's a shield.
They only send this to the winning prosecutor, right?
Yes, but I have no real interest in the perceived worth of other people. As for my own worth, that is something only I can determine for myself.
That's so slick, sir. I'm gonna have to try saying that sometime.
Well, unfortunately for him, his monetary worth is tied directly to his worth to me. Yeah, shit. Okay, so we got some stuff on the floor here. It's been a while since I've sat at this desk. Oh, how I've missed you. So tidy that it looks newer than when I first bought it.
Oh, yeah, is that thing so polished that it makes mirrors look jealous?
Don't tell me you had no other work the entire time I was away, Detective.
My job is to protect your office, sir.
And you did such a good job protecting it that a murder occurred in it.
Ah, that's sure. Yeah, don't make him feel bad.
I have to admit the desk has never looked better, so I guess I can't dock his pay. Jesus, man. Alright, what about this stuff? It's a ladder.
No, watch out for the teacup fragments there, sir.
Yeah. That killer is going to pay this tea set.
Yikes! You're really mad over this.
This tea set is very dear to my heart and can only be bought in England. It costs more than your whole month's paycheck.
What? Now I feel like the killer's wasted one of my monthly paychecks!
Don't make me dock your pay, I will. Just for the sake of getting it back. He's knocked over the entire rack of books. Come to think of it, yeah, it's kind of weird that all these books fell out. I mean, the shelf doesn't even look like it's been delodged. It looks like it's built directly in, so...
Your files are all over the floor, sir.
They probably fell during the struggle between the victim and the killer. Signs of struggle, gotcha. There's also blood.
Oh, and I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, this just rendered all the time and effort I put in pointless.
I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room.
Well, I watered the flowers every day just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning to the list as a weekend special.
I guess this is probably the warmest place he could possibly go.
For about half a day, every Saturday, I'd come in and clean this place until it sparkled.
Does he have a life? No. Again, I don't know what apartment he's in, but I'm pretty sure he needs to save money on heat. And conveniently just showing up here to clean stuff. There we go. Alright, so there's the body.
They finished photographing the body, so it should be alright to examine this area. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Ooh, nice. Alright, so he's got blood on his hands, probably from him, like, holding in the wound. Let's see here. There's blood all over his lower abdominal area. It looks like the bullet passed clean through his stomach area, sir. In other words, he was shot. Yep, and until the autopsy's done, I don't think we'll know much more than that. Please have the body sent to the morgue once they're done processing the crime scene. Okay, crime scene notes jotted down in organizer. I like the prosecutor badge. It looks a little bit more dignified than the one Phoenix has. Are you going to be okay with keeping track of the evidence we find, sir? Of course, this is the safest way I know to keep track of it all. By keeping it in my own hands and not submitting any of it. Alright, if you say so. I keep all the evidence I find either in or with my organizer. When I want to re-examine a piece, I have but to touch the organizer button. But the organizer isn't only for evidence. I keep people's profiles on hand in it too. It's probably a good idea to make a habit of checking the facts often. Okay, so stuff about the blood. Let's take a look at the actual entry wound. Let's see here. There's blood all over his lower abdominal area. Looks like the bullet passed clean through his... Oh, shit. Okay, that's the same thing. Okay, anything... I mean, there's the clear struggle with the books. Your files are over the floor, sir. Okay, struggle. Do. Oh my god. I've already done the thing. Right. I wanted the flowers, sir. The flowers old bag sent you. Does he have a life? No, he does not. Okay, looks like there's something a little bit different here. I don't believe it. I packed those files on these shelves so tight that not even an earthquake could make them fall off, but just look at them. At this rate, the rest of the files won't be able to withstand an earthquake at all. A problem to be sure. Well, once the investigation is over, we'll put them back up on the shelf. I suppose you need to pretty much earthquake-proof the ever-loving hell out of this place. Alright, what is this? What do we have here? Hey, I think I've seen one of those before. It's a police badge. Detective. Oh, hey, I have the exact same thing, actually. What a coinkydink. Let's take a look inside. Buddy Faith. Ah, what a sweet name. Rank detective. Mr. Buddy Faith. It would appear that our victim was a detective just like you. Oh dear. Here. I seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Now to calmly use some logic and figure out if any of them are connected to each other. I get the hint, alright. Well, I hope they're not gunning directly for any of the investigators, because in that case, Gumshoe is kind of on the chopping block. Let's talk with you first. You called, sir? Notice anything? Is there anything you noticed that you'd like to share, Detective Gumshoe? Just that I rushed over here as soon as I heard there was a murder in your office, sir. The investigation's just gotten started, so I guess there's not much else to say. So, you the one who found the body, Mr. Edgeworth? Unfortunately, upon my return, I found my office door to be unlocked. And what awaited me inside was this whole messy affair. Ouch, that's rough. Even though I left the security of this room to a certain detective. Sorry, sir. Ah, damn it. Ooh, and check marks. Cool. And then I can present stuff to him. I assume you understand how to conduct investigations, Detective Gumshoe? Of course, sir. Examine things by tapping them, or by touching the examine button. By checking various things out, we gather evidence and information. You would see the evidence we've collected by touching the organizer button. For information?
For information and leads, it's the logic button.
That's it. Great job, sir. Deductive reasonable is the way to go.
It's called deductive reasoning, detective. Clearly something you lack. Damn. So the info is gathered. I seem to have picked up a few good leads.
Oh, so now you're gonna do that thing you do with all the information, right?
What are you babbling about?
The Brady thing you were talking about just a few minutes ago, sir. Logic.
Hey, you remembered the word.
You said that you could look at all your leads and info by touching the logic button. Then you pick the pieces you want to connect by touching them and hitting connect. That's your way of investigating, right, sir?
Yes, which is why this exercise in explaining my own method to me was unnecessary.
Okay, then how about I explain my logic to you next?
That is even more unnecessary. Very well. Yeah, I get what you're doing. I'm going to look at the organizer real quick, because I haven't. Proof of my profession. However, I prefer to keep it in my pocket. Phoenix likes to show off. Bullet went clean through the victim's abdomen. The body was found at around 2:05 a.m. by a Mr. Me. Oh boy. Profiles. Detective. And then Dickumshoe. Homicide detective at the local precinct in charge of the initial investigation. Alright. So I don't have many pieces. Oh, hey, I've got actually quite a few. Well, real quick. Thankfully, I can do that anytime, it seems. Oh, dear Lord. That actually takes quite a long time. Like, apparently it just suspends the entire game. Might be worth it, though. Alright. So, why did this happen in my office? What was the killer after? Signs of struggle. Revolver. The victim was a detective. According to his badge and ID, Buddy Faith was a precinct detective. So, I mean, the killer's goal might have had something to do with the detectives, and that could in turn be tied directly back into me. Found at the crime scene, it's the same model as those used by the precincts. Nothing specifically about the actual gunshot, though. I do think the killer's goal might have something to do with the fact that the victim was a detective. So, okay, let's see. Did that work? The pieces don't fit together quite right. Shit. Alright, so that's not what I'm gunning at here. Okay, so my files are a mess, pointing to a struggle between the victim and the killer. Found at the crime scene, it's the same model as those... Okay, precinct detectives, and the victim was a detective. That's interesting. Maybe that has something to do with it, the fact that both these things have a connection to detectives. Let's try. Hey, I think I got it. The revolver, the standard model used by detectives. Could it belong to our recently departed? Detective Gumshoe, could you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time?
Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Excuse me, pal. Let's see what we got here. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. This guy's wearing a gun holster.
So it appears that our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. Very well. Neat. So I see. They hide little things that you can find in the crime scene until you can deduce that there might be something there. Let's see what else we can find out about this revolver. Ooh, now it's time for scanning things.
As I always say... Oh, wait, sorry, wrong voice. As I always say, you gotta look really carefully at each piece of evidence. You can use the scroll wheel to rotate an object. There's no such thing as a bad angle. Use the slide bar on the X and Y arrow to zoom in and out to get at the nitty-gritty.
Right? So is there any way to control those wheels any other way? Because you can you control this with the weird slider pad that 3DSs have. Alright, examine the chamber. Oh god, one shot's off. It looks like only one round was fired from this. Wow, so the killer killed the Vic with just one shot after wrestling the gun from him? Sounds like the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? We have no proof for now, but that is a distinct possibility.
Very well.
I guess this is about all we're going to find out. We should send the body to our Jim! Whoa! Oh, hey.
Why, oh why? How could this have happened to a guy like you?
You alright?
Don't touch me! Leave me alone! Just let me be!
Sorry, but I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body.
The body! The body! Don't just talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh! Look at him. Jim looks like he just turned in for the night. Sure, just in a blood-stained suit, pal.
Yeah, but you look very, very guilty, based on that one cutscene we saw.
Where are my manners?
Aren't you that prosecutor?
Why, yes, I am.
I'm Jacques Portsman, prosecutor. Jacques. Would that be a French accent? Not doing it.
Jim here was my partner in crime busting.
I'm Miles Edgeworth, and like you, I'm also a prosecutor.
Detective Dick Gumshoe, sir.
So you're Miles Edgeworth? I guess this is your office?
Yes, that is correct.
Then it was you! You're the one who killed Jim!
I knew it. Hey, don't go around jumping to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay?
I will not! I know how things work around here! My prosecutor's office door all have locks built into them, and only the owner of the office has the key to his or her own office door. Gumshoe can come in here. That is correct, however, I was not the one who killed your partner.
Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip the whole time, pal.
But he showed up roughly around the time when the murderer was in the office. So we're screwed either way. I don't know.
And the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay? So the only one who could get in here was me.
Dude.
Wait, that means it... I'm not sure what that means.
So it was you then! You're Jim's killer!
No way, pal! You got it all wrong! Everyone calm down!
Mr. Portsman, correct? If you are a real prosecutor, you should know to stay collected. The investigation has only just begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions? Alright, I get the point. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes. You sure are one cool customer, though, Mr. Edgeworth. I don't like your pretty face. I've heard all the rumors about you. You're a great genius prosecutor. You're something of a legend, you know? Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? A pleasure to work with you. Don't touch me. You guys were conducting your investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on, then. It's your room, after all. Thank you, I intend to. I just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there? Is that? Hands? Why? He really likes handshakes, I guess. I want you to capture this scene on film. Oh, it's he handed over camera. Fine. My final farewell to my partner Jim. I'd say it's sentimental, but I mean we already know what happened, so this guy's a scumbag. I should probably give them some space. No! Well, jeez, now what? I guess now I can take a look at this painting now that, you know, Freakazoid's moved.
Your jacket, sir! What's it doing on the floor?
It must have fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing a round.
So the killer not only shot the victim, but they shot your jacket as well? They dared to shoot the ultra-special jacket that you made your prosecution debut in? What if they'd shot through it? It would have been a disaster!
It's not worth getting worked up over, Detective. Not when there's something more here.
Oh, like what?
I take it you haven't noticed it yet, Detective? There is a giant contradiction right here in front of us. Ah! I see where you're going with this.
Really?
Did I say contradiction?
Ugh, he must be rubbing off on me. I'm starting to sound like him.
But I have my own methods, and I will conduct this investigation my way. When the scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence or seems off, that's when my detective skills come into play. First, I have to find the spot that holds the contradiction. This is it. The bullet hole is where the contradiction lies. When I spot something that's off, I should touch the deduce button with conviction. Deduce! And when I have found sufficient proof to prove the contradiction, I present it. This is how I do things. Alright. Well, yes, clearly the revolver has only one bullet missing. Eureka! This bullet hole is the contradiction.
Whoa, what do you mean, sir?
It's elementary. 2 shots were fired in this room. The first felled the victim, and the second felled this frame.
Hey, that's right.
However, this gun was only fired once.
Hey, that's true too.
Which means that one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. Did the killer have another gun prepared for tonight? Well, if I were to back up in my own, the memory of what happened there, I mean, it looks like the first shot happened, Edgeworth showed up, and then the dude shot his portrait, which was his own gun. So they're 2 entirely different guns for sure. And maybe through the squabble, he just happened to pick up the other dude's gun. Or this was a suicide. Actually, no, it can't be a suicide because of the cutscene. Fuck. I don't know.
By the way, I noticed something, sir.
Yes?
What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame?
Oh, that. It's a secret safe.
A secret safe? Oh, I smell money.
I'll spare us the trouble and just say it. Nothing like what you're imagining is inside. I don't have the king diamond. Now, if you could kindly move this frame out of the way.
Roger that.
Uh-oh, somebody has touched the keypad.
Talk about dusty.
I suppose that's what happens when I'm not here to dust it once in a while.
I had no idea there was a safe here, or I'd have kept it clean for you, sir. So, where did you put this thing in?
It wasn't something I had installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one.
Really? I had no idea.
Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence.
So, what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth?
Right now, nothing. We only use them to store especially important evidence when a trial is in session.
That's it? Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams.
Oh. So, wait, what? Maybe there's something in it now. Check it. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Right, I guess I'll examine the safe itself.
I never knew there was a safe hidden back here.
Well, if detectives knew about them, they wouldn't be secret, now would they?
Are there any other secret hidden things in hidden in this room?
Even if there were, it would defeat the purpose of them being hidden if I told you. So don't bother looking for them.
So there's no, like, hidden camera around, right?
And what if there was?
No, it's nothing. Forget I said anything.
Do I even want to ask what he's been doing in my office while I've been away? Yes. A whole bunch of nude modeling. Well, I guess the keypad next. Now this is odd.
You found something, sir?
This keypad, don't you find it a bit too clean?
Yeah, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not on the keypad itself.
You there, the forensic scientist? Yes, sir. Could you please dust this area for fingerprints? You got it, sir. Neato. How long is this going to take us? Nah, I couldn't find, let alone lift, a single print. Looks like it was wiped down. Oh. That's why there isn't any dust, because they went and inputted the code, and then they were like, oh, wait, shit. No, they're going to know that it was me if I leave my prints. Wipe. I get it. Yep. I'm sure I'm going to have to put that together at some point. As I thought. It appears that logic is the only way around this setback. Time to rationally and calmly connect the dots with the information we have. Very well. So let me look at what we have. All of the fingerprints on this have been wiped clean off. Other than the victim's gun that I found, could there be another gun in play here? Killer's goal. Why did this happen in my office? What was the killer after? I mean, the killer's goal might have been to get at whatever it is that's inside that safe. Although I don't think if there is another handgun, I feel like the killer would have taken it with him in that regard. So I would have to guess killer's goal might have had something to do with the white fingerprints on the safe. Oh, hey! I believe I figured out what the murderer was after.
Well, what is it, sir?
The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests that the criminal had at least attempted to open my safe, making the culprit's motive for breaking and entering theft, I believe. But what kind of theft? And I mean, it supposedly that thing was empty. What the hell would you need in there? I wonder if knowing that the motive behind this break-in was theft changes what the other pieces of information can tell me about this crime. Oh, interesting. Okay. So the motive was theft. There's a sign of struggle. I mean, it might. Culprit tried to open my safe. Was the killer's motive theft? I'm going to try and connect some things. So, if the motive was theft, some kind of a maybe there was some kind of a struggle between two people in the theft. This is kind of iffy. I don't know. Oh, hey, maybe. There is a possibility that the files splayed on the floor are not the result of a struggle between the victim and his killer.
Oh, you mean like it could be from when the killer tried to find something, sir?
Precisely. We need to figure out if any of the files have been stolen.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna shelve files like you've never seen before, even at a library.
Sure, let's give it a try. Yes. Put them all back together. Why do all the good ones always die young? Surely you must ponder that every once in a while, Mr. Edgeworth. I don't care. No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All we can do is search for the truth. Han, so what are we supposed to do? How do we go about finding the truth? First, we calmly restore the files to their rightful place. You got it! Here, let me help. Don't let that asshole help. He is going to skew the results so hard.
So this file goes here, that book goes there.
Sure know a lot about where things go, despite it being Mr. Edgeworth's office.
Because I'm the one who keeps it tidy, pal, okay? Done.
So much blood. Wait. Huh. Alright, the blood spots are a little... confusing the hell out of me a little bit, because there's multiple places where the hands were apparently resting. It would appear that the murder was definitely committed here.
Ugh, the bloodstains on the bookshelf are still fresh.
I suspect the victim was killed in a standing position, hence the prints on the shelf.
And then the guy fell onto the floor, right? The blood on the floor is kind of grossing me out.
Detective, I don't have the time to deal with your weak stomach right now.
But you know I'm no good with blood, sir.
You're a homicide detective. Jesus Christ. I mean, you're not a good one, but still. I'm certain there's something wrong with this picture. I guess I'm confused. Maybe I just need to see the scene myself, but I don't understand why you would, like... In the order that it was supposed to happen, you were supposed to, like... Shot, clutch your stomach, fall back, blood on both hands, and then I guess slide back. Alright, I guess that would work. Now I see a weird thing in this book.
So this is where the bullet lodged itself after it went through the victim, huh?
For the bullet to be lodged so squarely in a file spine indicates that the files were ransacked after the shooting had occurred.
And then I guess the victim was moved because he was in the killer's way?
Where? Is that proper? It's a weird angle for the bullet to have shown up.
I put them all back, just as they should be, sir. Doesn't look like anything's missing.
Although it does look like the killer moved the body to flip through my shelves. I wonder if they found what they were looking for. I will take a look at this too.
The victim's handprints. He must have tried to support himself with his hands here after being shot. The prints on the floor too.
Those must have been made when, unable to stay standing, he dropped to the floor. Very well. Anything else?
Yep, put them all back, sir.
What about the blood splatter on the floor? It appears that the victim was in a sitting position here after being shot.
Oh, so that's why the seat of the victim's pants had blood on it.
That would be the logical conclusion. No. Just massive Taco Bell diarrhea that destroyed his bowels. Toilet humor. It's hilarious. Alright. I am so curious about that hole. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? I guess I'm very confused. Let me take a look at the notes here. Bullet went clean through the victim's abdomen. The body was found at around 2:05 a.m. Issued to the victim and believed to be the murder weapon. Only one shot fired. And then the secret... maybe not the bullet hole. It's... let me see. Shot clean through the victim's abdomen. The body was found... I mean, the thing that kind of bugs me, though... There wouldn't be blood... These books would have not been shot had he been standing and leaned. But we're running into a situation where now I'm kind of wondering, like, how do I get that point across? It's like, what does this game want me to present first? I'm not entirely certain. Let me think. Believed to be the murder weapon, only one shot fired. I don't think that would be anything. It'd have to be this and a matchup with one of the pieces of evidence that are currently being shown here. Bullet went clean through the victim's abdomen. Body was found at around 2:05. No, the thing that would be weird would definitely be the bullet. So, let's see. Eureka! There's clearly a contradiction here with this bullet hole.
What do you mean, sir?
You don't see? Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. If the victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should be much higher up.
But what if the guy was shot while he was sitting or lying down, sir?
That would be illogical. The victim leaned against this shelf here after being shot, which suggests that he was standing when he was shot.
Then that means... Wait, what does that mean, sir?
It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mind, detective. In any case, it means someone made a faulty assumption, and it was from this mistake that our current contradiction was born. Was the faulty assumption that caused this problem. Alright. The position of the body. The position of the handprints. No, not the order of the files. The position of the handprints makes sense. Maybe the position of the body? If the victim was shot while he was lying down...
Wait, didn't you just say that line of reasoning is illogical, sir? You said the victim leaned against this shelf here after being shot.
I was trying to be nice and explain my complex logic in an easier way for you, detective.
Oh, really? Thanks for thinking of me, sir.
Not insulted in the least. Okay. Good. I don't think he noticed my mistake. Oh, shit. Okay, apparently I was wrong. What is the faulty assumption? Okay, it wasn't the body. God damn it. I mean... Could it be the order of the files that... I'm trying to think, like, what would happen... What would happen if the order of the files was correct or incorrect? I got plenty of health, so... Meh! The position of the handprints is what's causing the problem. We wouldn't be in this dilemma if the handprints were closer to the ground.
But the handprints are where they are... up top.
Yes, you are quite perceptive, which is why this is not a viable hypothesis.
Oh, so it was just a what if, then what's the right answer?
You still can't figure it out? Then allow me to explain.
Yes, please, sir.
Guess you didn't notice the slip-up, although at this point I shouldn't be surprised. Boy, Edgeworth is smooth. He's doing a very good job at trying to clean this up. Alright. Really? The order of the files? I guess I don't know. I believe the order of the files is a bit off.
You mean I put them back in the wrong order just now? Hey, actually, I think the labels in the files are wrong, sir.
Oh?
Yeah, you see how the files that were shot begin with the number 0? What are those doing all the way down there after 1, 2, and 3? That's really weird.
Actually, the way they are organized now is the correct order. They are exactly as I see them in my mind's eye.
But the numbers are all out of order.
Those white binders are special, so they are arranged in a little different. But from this, we know that the files were not in this order when the crime occurred.
Aha, so that's it.
I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you just did, detective. Let's rearrange the files in numerical order and see what we find out. Oh, entered. Ah, there, now it works. Yeah, it's completely broken this way, but apparently that's how that was sorted. Alright. Weird.
Do you think it'd be okay to prop the body back up to how it was before it moved?
Probably not. They finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you please, Detective Gumshoe. Yeah, let him do the dirty work. As I suspected, the bullet hole is now where it should logically be. The killer went through my files first before shooting Mr. Faith.
And then put the files back in numerical order, I guess.
Exactly. And then proceeded to shoot the victim.
But why would someone kill a man and then look through their files one more time?
Puzzling indeed. The files were thrown into disarray twice, once before and once after the crime. But why? There's a good question. I don't even know.
Now the crime scene is as it was at the time of the murder. Time to give it another look.
Alright, so... Oh, what in the... Why? Hold up, what...
This... What is that? Why does it say gumshoe on there in blood?
I'd say it's some incredibly incriminating evidence.
Yes. Indicative of criminal activity indeed.
No, wait, there's gotta be some mistake! Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me! Say something, sir!
It appears that one of my files was stolen.
Is that all, sir? What about me and my situation?
Is this what the killer was really after?
Oh, boy. I don't know. We've proven time and time again that something... Like, there's very little reasoning as to why somebody would write their any names at the end of their life, and then we've proven that it's indeed possible. Like, it's so hard to follow just whether or not that's a good method of investigation, but whatever. Looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the end. And this most important message managed to reach us.
I'm telling you, it wasn't me!
You can't be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is the guilty party.
If you're going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit, I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up.
Jim's words, they're more than enough, wouldn't you say?
If that's how you want to play it, then at least allow me to understand your reasoning.
You got it. Ooh, yay. A little minigame of wits. Can I save? I don't like the fact that it forces you to suspend it, but... Oh well. Last game was so freaking convenient. You didn't have to go back to menus, you just went and saved.
Alright. There's something strange about this man's attitude. And there must be some sort of flaw to his logic waiting for me to dig out.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you going to do?
What I always do in court. I'm going to cross-examine him. One way or another, I'll expose the flaws in his logic with this technique.
Ooh, how do you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir? Sure. I'm sure this is just the tutorial, but okay.
Alright, first I listen to the witness's testimony. If I find a flaw in the testimony, something that contradicts the evidence, I open the organizer and present the piece of contradictory evidence. To present something, I simply touch the present button, but that's old news.
But it's not like there's gonna be a flaw in their testimony every time, right?
Correct. At those times, I need to press the witness by touching the press button. Sometimes by pressing, I can draw out new information and new or modified testimony.
I think I get it, sir. I'll be sure to try this technique out during investigations, too.
Very well. I'll even show you how it's done. Now, watch carefully.
Time for a little court order. Mr. Portsman Logic. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Further, you messed up the files to make it look like you'd committed theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. Thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice.
Please. You intend to argue that the victim's dying message points to the killer?
I can hear Jim's voice, and he's calling for his killer's arrest.
Are you sure you're not mishearing the words, Mr. Portsman? There's no way Detective Gumshoe is the culprit here. I will find the flaw in this man's logic and expose it with credible evidence.
Hooray, instead of being a shitball and bringing in false ones. I'm gonna go ahead and just press stuff. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead.
You know, there's something I've been meaning to ask.
What is it?
Why do you call the victim Jim?
when clearly his name is Buddy Faith? Isn't it obvious? Jim is the perfect name for my companion. Jacques and Jim. Don't these two names go together like peanut butter and jam?
But Jim isn't even close to the guy's real name.
Well, Jacques and Buddy just sounds off somehow. No! Dude, Jacques and Buddy. The Buddy comedy. The Buddy crime capers. Dude, seriously, no. Oh, God. Weak-ass excuse. Besides, he was the third of a bunch of guys I decided to nickname Jim. He talks about the victim like he was his pet. Further, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead. Meh. Do you really think it was necessary to dishevel my shelves twice to do that? That's true. Okay, then maybe his real intent was theft.
Hey! Are you accusing me of stealing something from Mr. Edgeworth?
It's a possibility. Maybe your salary's been cut so much that life is getting a little too rough to handle.
I'll have you know that I eat 3 square meals every day, pal. Okay, so all 3 of them happen to be instant noodles, but...
Oh, poor thing. What an evil prosecutor you were paired up with. And what a motive, no? That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf.
And why would Detective Gumshoe do such a thing?
Because the body was getting in his way. He had to mess up your bookshelf somehow, right? Anyway. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. Whoopsies. Head back.
Why do you think that the killer didn't notice the bloody letters?
The body was covering it quite well, wouldn't you say? That's how he missed it. But judging by from what I've seen, it doesn't take much for your detective to miss something.
Who do you think you are? You know nothing about me, pal!
There's a lot a person can understand about another from first impressions alone.
I can't say I disagree with him on that point. Well, why don't you say something, sir? Are you too, Mr. Edgeworth?
Despite his lack of attention to detail, I don't believe the detective to be the true culprit. Nobody could have overlooked the bloody letters, and I can prove it with evidence. I couldn't ask for a better setup for the game-finishing spike. Well, I'm getting the hint that this has got something to do with it. Thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters. I mean, you can't. Like, you really can't miss that, considering the fact that the bloody letters, he wrote it out right before you stole, like, the center book in the middle of the bloody letters. So, hell no. Yes. Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Portsman, but there is a serious flaw in your logic. Bringing a bit of the courtroom into this. I see. No problem. I'm game. I can't help but find it odd. Excuse me? Odd that a fellow prosecutor would be brought down by the power of his own office. What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking. I get it. If you have the time to laugh, then you have the time to take another closer look at this. Do you still not see? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file? What? That's impossible! What's impossible, Mr. Portsman? Nothing. The files on that shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take the file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on that spine. Oh no. It's possible they could have taken the file before committing the murder. No, it wouldn't have. I think it's pretty obvious that the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters and the detective's name, where the file should be, is the proof.
Yeah, I mean, the S is gone and there's only half an H.
If Detective Gumshoe really was the culprit of this case, I highly doubt that even he could overlook his own name written in blood on the files. Especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood.
Which means... What exactly... What does that make this dying message? It makes it the work of a criminal intent on tampering with the crime scene. That's so low. I can't believe the criminal tried to pin this whole thing on me, sir. I'm gonna get him, sir. You'll see. I'm gonna have them under arrest in no time. Well, Mr. Portsman.
Brilliant! Absolutely splendid! Logic deserving of Olympic gold.
I appreciate the praise, but it doesn't change the fact that your reasoning is flawed.
Nah, you win some and you lose some. That's how life goes.
Glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive.
Oh God, Gumshoe. Ah, but you know, it really is a shame. I really didn't want to have to bring this up. However... Oh, we'll shoot it down. Bring it up.
What is it this time? Are you still after me, pal?
Humor me for a second. Who has the key to this office?
That would be me. But Mr. Edgeworth just proved that I'm innocent, pal.
Silly. That's absolutely right. And I acknowledge your innocence.
Then why do I sense that you still have something to say?
Stop it. Well, I was thinking. Did you know there's one other person with a key to this office?
One other person?
Hey, you there. Yes, sir. What is it, sir? Would you kindly fetch and escort the lovely young lady here for me? What young lady?
A lady?
The girl's a member of this building security. I think of her as a material witness.
Security? Did you say security? No, stop it, Paul. Don't! What's wrong with him all of a sudden?
Uh-oh. I believe she needs no introduction. I've called upon Miss Maggie Bird, a member of security. Yes! Maggie Bird! Detective Gumshoe, sir!
Maggie!
Awkward. Miss Bird is the security guard on watch tonight.
I see. And your point is?
My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key, which can open all the office doors in this building.
What?
Great. She's in trouble again. For fuck's sake. She can never catch a break. If you are not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe, then the only other person with access to this room is Miss Bird. How dare you! I would never sneak into someone's room!
That's right! I refuse to believe that Maggie's the culprit, pal! It was me! That's right! I did it!
Don't do that. Can we take that as a confession, Detective?
Well, it wasn't really me, but it definitely wasn't Maggie, pal! So, yeah, it was me. If it was, you'd have no problems with that, right?
Please refrain from flying off the handle, Detective. There's no need for such theatrics. Listen to your boss, Detective. He understands what I'm saying here. Jesus. All right. Oh, God. That pose in particular. I imagine some ridiculous pinups. That girl's the only one who could have committed the crime. And for one simple reason. Okay. So, another one of these. It's pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key. I mean, if Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door, then that leaves only Miss Bird as our prime suspect. On top of which, she knows our good detective, doesn't she? Making it all that more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. Jeez, I'm gonna be so happy when he gets locked up. Holy shit.
So you're saying she used the master key?
Ooh, that's a very shiny key. Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say? No. Not really. It's just sort of innocuous and stupid.
That's what you claimed about the evidence earlier as well.
That was then, this is now. The flow of a good match always changes during a rally. It's all about your reflexes and reaction time, especially for an athlete like me.
I wonder if there was anyone else other than Miss Bird who could have used that master key. It seems that the only way to get Mr. Portsman to give me more details is to press him.
I suppose I didn't have to press the last time, and now I have to. Right. I guess I will save. For the sake of a safety net. Boy. The frickin' backup on these things is very slow, isn't they? They don't need to be that quick, but... Alright. Snuck and got the master key, eh?
Are you sure Miss Bird is the only member of security who could have used the master key?
There's only one person on staff at this time of night, and tonight, she's it. Isn't that right, Miss Bird? That's, true, but I wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir.
Wasn't able to? What's that supposed to mean?
Yes, moving on. I'd hate to get sidetracked by something unrelated.
What do you mean unrelated? I want to hear what she has to say, pal.
But you can't really trust her not to tell lies. Plus, I hate wasting time. You are in the exact same boat, and you could be telling lies just as much as she could. Everybody's story gets heard.
Should I hear Miss Bird out?
Not so fast. I, too, am interested in hearing what Miss Bird has to say. Didn't I just say it'd be a waste of time? We don't need to hear her lies.
I'll be the judge of that. Miss Bird, if you please.
Ooh. So we got multiple people up on this. I discovered that the master key was missing at around 1 a.m., sir.
What do you mean by missing?
As in, it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it.
Mr. Portsman, I believe this to be an important piece of testimony, don't you?
Oh, I can't believe that someone like you would be taken in by such words. I'm not lying, sir! I like your outfit, by the way. Very, very nice new outfit. Now, if that's the case, then I'd like to know why you have the master key now. I don't quite know. It just reappeared all of a sudden, sir. A likely story. And where is your proof that the key was stolen to begin with? I bet you just forgot where you put it and then found it again. I never lose things. I can practically guarantee that. With me, if something disappears, it's usually because someone stole it.
Yeah, pal. Trust me, you don't want to test just how bad her luck is.
Yes, multiple people are dead.
Unfortunately, I can't deem this piece of testimony as conclusive.
Glad you agree, Mr. Edgeworth.
But, you still haven't established Maggie's motive for breaking into Mr. Edgeworth's office.
Your motive? Didn't we already establish that it was theft? I mean, the culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried to save.
It is as Mr. Portsman says, Detective. I can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points towards a motive of theft. But I'm done talking blows. It's time to counterattack with a few facts of my own.
Her intent? From the messed up shelves to the wiped down safe, I'd say thievery.
I concur that the culprit's motive appears to have been thievery. However...
Glad to hear that the great Miles Edgeworth is in agreement with little old me.
However, with regard to the investigation of the bookshelves and safe...
Hey, good thinking. Asking for my opinion on the matter. Shut your mouth!
Would it be too much for you to allow me to complete a full sentence?
I mean, if Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who's opened the door.
I thought we had established Detective Gumshoe's innocence pretty thoroughly.
It was just a theory, one hypothesis among the many possibilities. I mean, I had my doubts about Miss Bird from the very beginning.
If that's the case, then why didn't you mention her first?
No, no, don't make that face. See? There goes the truth, running the other way. Let's pick up the pace and see if we can catch up to it.
I don't think you're catching my drift.
But we are in agreement that the detective isn't the killer, right? If so, then I hope you'll understand when I say... Jesus, stop playing with Jacket. That since she's the only one who could have opened your office door, then that leaves only Miss Bird as our prime suspect.
Don't you think it's a bit early to be jumping to conclusions?
Are you saying there's another way to open the door other than with the master key? Oh, I get it. Perhaps you had a spare made for someone else.
I'll have you know I have never made a spare, so what are you insinuating?
Nothing. Guess I should have known better than to suggest that someone like you would... On top of which, she knows our good detective, doesn't she?
Is there anyone in this district who hasn't at least heard of Detective Gumshoe?
Yes. Oh my god. He... Wildly world-famous buffoon. Good point. He's practically a celebrity amongst us prosecutors.
Really? I never knew I was so talked about, sir.
We're holding our collective breath, you know. For when you screw up so badly that you're literally chased off the force.
What? Is that true, Mr. Edgeworth?
Of course not. That's hogwash.
Ooh, don't scare me like that. I almost had a heart attack there.
God, sorry, Gumshoe. He's not that bad. He's pulled through in the end multiple times. Kinda. Making it all the more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message.
By a dying message, you mean the bloody letters that spell out Gumshoe?
I figured that whoever wrote his name must have wanted to frame him. And just the act of choosing his name is proof enough that the two knew each other well.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and present some evidence.
I would love to, but first we should listen a bit more and digest what he is saying. And press him for more information. Very well, I think that's everything. Right, so the thing that we were trying to present on here. For intent from the messed up shelves to the wiped down safe, I'd say thievery. Which one of these was that again? The one that they were very obviously hinting. See, the only one... Okay, only one person on staff at the time of the night, and tonight, that's it. I wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir. Right, yeah, this one. Missing around 1 a.m. Jeez. Yeah, I gotta watch the keys a little bit more, Miss Madam. I bet you just forgot where you put it and found it again.
What do you know, pal?
Every single person here is, like, potentially lying. Okay. Can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points towards a motive of theft, but I'm done talking blows. It's time to counterattack with a few facts of my own. Pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key. What proof do we have against that? This can open every office door. It was stolen from the security office. There's no direct proof that she didn't just use it. Well, I mean, okay, snuck into your room using the master key. Each prosecutor has one of this office. Prints were wiped. I'm trying to think of, like, where are they going with this? Clearly they're going with it, going somewhere. And they said this. For intent from the messed up shelves to the wiped down safe, I'd say thievery. It's either this one or it's the next one. But yeah, they were hinting the ever-loving hell out of the first one. So what would it be? Kind of want to just try some stuff. Okay, that was wrong, shit. I must object to your line of logic. And which part do you have an objection to?
It's... Yes, well... Stay cool, Mr. Edgeworth. You're no good when you're all flustered.
The detective's right for a change.
How did it come to this? Calm down, Miles. Listen carefully and think everything through a bit more rationally.
Alright. Pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key. One of the files that was written upon. Can I check this? There's not really any information that's tying to an objection by her. Issued to the victim and believed to be the murder weapon. Only one shot fire. I mean, clearly there was a tussle, right? Bullet went clean to the victim's body. Body was found around 2:05. Can we suggest that somehow... Because I was thinking, like, maybe Miss Bird is not burly enough to be able to fight a freaking detective. I'm not 100% on that one. Oh, God, let's just try stuff. Oh! No. Was this right? Was this right? I don't even know.
It would behoove of you to take a good look at this.
I see it, but I fail to see how it has anything to do with me.
Is that so?
Shit. Not my top of the game, Mr. Jean's
I can't allow him to set the pace here. I must remain calm. Only by doing so can I find the fatal flaw in his reasoning.
This is about the master key. Alright, so what about the... What's going on with this? I don't even know. Nope. Shit. Oh, God. I don't know. I'm a bit lost with this case. No. I'm a bit confuzzled. Maybe it is this part. Oh, okay, I think I found it this time.
Do you wish to continue insisting that Miss Bird was set on stealing something?
Why not? It's the truth, after all. It was also by your logic that we came to the whole thievery conclusion anyway.
That may be, but you must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe, the existence of which is only privy to prosecutors. I find it a little hard to believe that a hidden safe was a part of her cunning plan.
But she could have found it by accident while she was turning everything else upside down.
I highly doubt that. I'd say the culprit knew exactly what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted. Yeah, even I didn't know about the safe, pal. And that means there's no way Maggie could have known about it either.
Then are you proposing that the killer is a prosecutor?
Interesting conclusion. That's definitely looking more and more probable.
What's wrong, prosecutor? Do you have a different suspect in mind now? Curses! Why? What made you...
What's with the angry face all of a sudden?
It's all my fault!
What do you mean?
It's Jim. He knew about the existence of the secret saves.
What did you just say?
We were partners, like inseparable, conjoined twins. That's why I told him. I filled him in on the secret saves.
Then that means...
Yeah, I know. I had only just told him, too. Obviously, it was wrong of me to tell him. I still can't quite believe it, but the thief who broke into your room was probably Jim.
Now he's claiming that the victim was the thief.
And you were simply trying to stop him, weren't you, Miss Maggie Bird? Excuse me? I mean, you are a security guard, right? That's your job. But killing is going a bit too far, even in your risky profession.
What the... You're still accusing Maggie of the murder?
Yes and no. I mean, she had stumbled upon Jim, who had probably drawn his gun. I get it. It was self-defense, wasn't it? No! I couldn't... I could never have done something like that. Not even as a security guard, sir.
Plus, even if he was a thief, he wouldn't have the key to this office.
Which is precisely why he had to steal it, wouldn't you say? It was Jim who stole the master key. Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be here with us, unless you retrieved it from Jim after you killed him.
Mr. Portsman, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief?
I don't want to admit it, but it's the only way for everything else to make sense.
He has no honor! Has he no other, rather?
Now that I think we're done here, the investigation waits for no man. Would you peoples be so kind as to see yourselves out?
You can't kick us out! This is Mr. Edgeworth's office!
Ah, but I'm the one who's been assigned to the case. You are all suspects to varying degrees and therefore ineligible to run the show.
Listen, pal, how many times do I have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit! Detective Gumshoe, calm yourself. But, sir... We have no choice but to accommodate his request. For now.
Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now, then, if you could remove yourselves from my crime scene, I'd be most grateful.
Mark my words, Mr. Portsman. We will meet again.
If that's a formal request from the legendary prosecutor himself, then I suppose so. Now, don't disappoint me here. God. To be continued. Bullshit. That's not the first chapter, is it? I mean, not the entirety of the first chapter? I hope not. I want to stick this guy so far up a cell, you don't even know. And so now we're out here. March 14th, 18 a.m. Prosecutor's building, 12th floor hallway.
What is with that prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable.
Please maintain your professionalism, detective.
I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir.
But we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir.
True. So then what now?
Looks like my life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch.
Do not despair, Miss Bird. We can overcome this as well. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Really, sir? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of this argument against Miss Bird is related to the master key. In that case, the hallway is the perfect place to look for more information regarding the mystery surrounding my door.
Alright, and now we just search around in here. Okay, well, we got ourselves a seat.
I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny.
Well, there happens to be a book.
Ooh.
Why didn't you take it farther, you assholes?
It's... isn't that missing Zero series file, sir?
No doubt about it. The bloody letters mark it clear as day.
But there seems to be a few pages missing. Our thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind. So, what are these Zero files about, sir? I guess they've got something worth stealing in them, huh? Not particularly, it's just a collection of court case files. However, the cases within these files are not mine. They belong to the High Prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were. Then that means the thief must also wanted the file for a specific reason, right? It would seem so. Only the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing. So has it been phased out already? I have no idea. I wonder why anyone would care about such an old case. Grudges. That would do it. Alright. Anything else weird going on here? A well-crafted, high-quality sofa for visitors. The stitching is excellent. Talk about a luxury waiting area. These babies are also great for napping, you know. You would sleep even out here, Detective, in a hallway. Whenever I do, I always wind up dreaming about giving testimony up on the stand. It always ends with the same way. Me getting trounced by a lawyer. Isn't that awful? Maybe I should give it a try sometime. To envision myself winning, naturally. I think that'll do it for this chair here. That's all that. Meh, there's a... What? Wait, why? Why? Why is it... Basketball? What is a basketball doing here? That's Mr. Portsman's prized possession, sir. I heard he also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis. And not a single one of those sports is suitable to be played in a hallway. Oh god, Mr. Oh, it's pain. How about that? What is a basketball hoop doing here? Hey, didn't this used to be just outside, next to the building a long time ago? So when and why was it moved indoors? I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drag it up here recently. Drag it? I heard that it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it himself. All the way up to the 12th floor? Damn. Okay, I think I need to talk with you. Prosecutor. That's Winston, clearly.
It looks like you're in quite a pinch, Mr. Edgeworth.
To be sure, a murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. We must find, apprehend, and punish the killer accordingly post-haste.
Sounds like a messy case you've got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, my door is always open.
How gracious. I will keep your offer in mind. Who is this guy again?
Alright, then there's you.
Is everything alright?
Yes, sir. If you must know, I weighed myself this morning and I'm finally at 154 pounds.
Congratulations, but I was asking about this hallway in this room.
Oh, everything's okay, sir.
A word of advice, stay focused, or you may start to lose even more weight.
Alright, can we go inside his office?
This office. 1203. Hey, Maggie! Whose room is this again?
It's Mr. Portsman, sir.
So he's my new neighbor, I see. I suppose he's moved in while I was away overseas.
So, is that everything? I mean, can't go down this hallway here. Interesting. I also love that it's a DS game. It's one of like those newfangled ones that tried to tie in the touchscreen to freaking everywhere. So you can actually control the game via like touching the touchscreen. Okay. Nothing else here. Oh god, anybody help me. Well, maybe Maggie's got something to say.
I was wondering if I may speak with you for a bit concerning this case.
I've always been a big fan of this courtroom, but this is like a dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth. Get the stars out of your eyes and pay attention.
I can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. I should jog her memory by showing my notes to her through the present button.
Okay. Why the hell not? And specifically, we're looking for info about the master key, so... So, when did you discover that the master key was missing?
By the time I realized it, I think it was around 1 a.m., sir. And I noticed it was back at around 2:30 a.m. It was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room reception window is. But I'm sure that between these 2 times, it was not just gone, but stolen, sir.
Why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place?
It's not like that, sir. You always keep the key further inside the room, away from the window.
Always, you say? Except for this time, correct?
Well, I admit it was a bit careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I used it that I left it sitting out on the ledge.
She used the master key?
For what? For what reasons?
Do you react to anything else?
I'm just a lowly security guard, so I'm not sure what I should do with that other than to guard it.
Oh, it's like talking to another gumshoe.
Impossible. That can't happen.
I don't. I'm gonna take a guess and a stab that this is probably not gonna work.
Oh, hey, the badge works. Good. That's traditional.
That's a prosecutor's badge, isn't it? It proves that you're really a prosecutor. Interesting. Despite all appearances, she seems to know more than Gumshoe.
With that badge, even I could be a professional prosecutor. Sir, may I please try that on just for a little bit?
I don't think that would be a very good idea, do you?
I guess not.
On second thought, they're actually on the same level.
Alright.
I'm sure that I've opened up some stuff. Have you ever met the victim before?
Well, I've seen him a couple of times before when I had to go to Mr. Portman's office. Mr. Faith was always playing basketball with Mr. Portman, sir.
That sounds like fun! Just once I'd love to play with them.
Sounds fun, but the only person ever taking a shot was Mr. Portman. All Mr. Faith ever did was pass him the ball, sir.
Oh, on second thought, I don't think I'd have fit in all that well with them.
Meh, I don't know. You're a little bit of a lead weight. God, yeah, he really was treating other people like mules.
Miss Maggie Bird, correct? I take it that you are an acquaintance of the detective? She was under my supervision back when she was still on the force, sir. One day she got caught up in a murder and things started going downhill, so she quit.
But I owe a lot to Detective Gumshoe for introducing me to my current employer. Or so I thought until a few hours ago, right before I was about to check out for the night.
You got caught up in this whirlwind of a case, correct?
Don't worry, my whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building. I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed at almost every test I've taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and now I even managed to be named a criminal just when I've become a security guard.
That's a lot to go through in one lifetime.
I know! And just when I thought I finally found my happiness, I wind up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck.
You don't need to worry about me, Miss Bird. Nor do you need to worry about yourself. I will solve this case and prove your innocence. All I ask in return is for your cooperation.
Yes, sir, Mr. Edgeworth! You can count on me. I'll do all I can to help.
Cool. Well, she's star-studded. Master key. What did you mean by you used the master key?
Oh, I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. I mean, it's my job as a security guard, right? What security guard? Wait, no. What prosecutor are we talking? What is it? That's right, I just remembered! The prosecutor who forgot his key! It was Mr. Portsman, sir!
What? Please tell me more, Miss Bird, quickly!
Very nice. What did he do? It was around 12 a.m. Mr. Portsman had forgot his office key, so he came down to security, sir. And that's when you loaned the master key to him?
No way! It's against regulation to loan the master key out to anyone.
I walked with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir.
I see. And then, what happened after that?
Well, he called for me to come close up his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30 a.m., I think.
So, in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight.
I think, yeah, they were absolutely in cahoots.
Talk about suspicious. I doubt you can say that you've never left your keys at home, Detective. I think this calls for a thorough examination of Mr. Portsman's door.
Very nice.
That kind of reminds me, recently I went out and I don't know how this happened, but I forgot my cell phone. And I started freaking out. So it's like, oh god, what if I need that?
I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Room 1203. I take it this is Mr. Portsman's office.
Yeah, you can't mistake it because of that basketball hoop, sir.
Oh, that reminds me, Mr. Portman had actually wanted room 1202 really badly.
Oh wait, who said that? Damn it. But since you were already occupying it, Mr. Edgeworth, we put him next door, sir.
So why was Mr. Portsman so particular about getting room 1202?
I'm not sure, but I bet it's because of something like his birthday is December 2nd.
Yup, that's gotta be it. I can't think of another reason why.
Really? Thick as a brick.
I can think of at least 3, but... why am I even wasting time thinking about this?
Okay.
A minimalist yet classy door made of top-quality wood. It's kinda majestic, too. Fits in really well with the ambience of the prosecutor's office. Even Mr. Portsman seems dignified just because he works behind one of these. Nonsense! A man doesn't become more or less dignified because of where he works. Well, he still seems more dignified than Mr. Payne. Mr. Payne. I suppose custodial work can also be dignified.
Okay, so what about this lock?
The door is locked tight. I bet the old credit card trick wouldn't work here, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? This is the office of a high prosecutor detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if the average cat burglar could get through them. Aha! So I guess only a great cat burglar could get in. That must be who our culprit is.
No. For God's sakes. Yes, it was obviously, friggin' Sly Cooper.
Might I advise you return that conclusion to whatever pawn shop you bought it from?
Okay, anything else? Nothing seems to be outlining the door. And yes, there was this. Doesn't look like the hinges have anything weird going on with it. Pretty sure we're done with this. Alright, so now that I've gone and done a whole bunch of stuff here, do you have anything? Okay, files in disarray. The culprit rearranged my files twice, once before and once after the murder. Why? The master key was stolen. The master key... this key was used to unlock and lock Portsman's office, 12 a.m. I'll come back to this. Hi. So, you've got nothing going on. You have anything new to say? No. Alright, let's talk to Gumshoe real quick.
Yes, sir?
Anything of interest?
Detective Gumshoe, you look rather intrigued by something. Care to share? No, it's nothing, but I noticed that Mr. Portsman calls his partner Jim. And the detective in that Sunday night drama, All My Cops, is named Jim too. I bet one of them is a big fan of that show. You seem to know a little something about yourself. I take it you watch it too? Of course! The tight bond of friendship between prosecutor and detective is great, sir. But it's nothing compared to the super strong friendship we have. Don't flatter yourself. Friendship, detective? I think you're mistaking it with pity. How can you say that, sir? And after all we've been through, too.
And this is about Miss Bird.
No way she's the killer. Please don't tell me you buy into that accusation, sir.
Rest assured, I think she's innocent. However, I need to ask a few things regarding her security guard position.
Well, if you're only asking, that's okay. Just stand next to her and then touch the talk button. Then you two can talk about whatever topic you pick. When you want to ask her about evidence, all you have to do is present it. After you choose what to show her, touch present again, and off you go. I recommend showing different people different things. You'd be surprised by what they say.
Thank you for the explanation, though I don't recall asking for one.
Oh, just so you know, sir, you can show me evidence in the same way, too.
I do believe it's time to get down to business and ask some questions of Miss Bird.
Not again.
Ah, my god. Alright, I guess I'll finish up a round. I was wondering about the investigation.
Oh, I've been waiting for this. Let a real seasoned pro teach you how it's done.
A real seasoned pro. Of instant noodle cuisine, perhaps.
You know that you can always check out the really important spots in more detail, right?
Yes.
And if the area is too big, you can always use the arrow buttons at the bottom, right? Oh, but don't worry, sir. The arrows only show up when you need to use them to see more.
I knew that as well.
And when you think there's a contradiction or something unusual, try deduction. First, you line up your cursor with the suspicious-looking area. Then touch the deuce and choose your poison. I mean evidence. When you've settled on a piece, you gotta present it.
I'm pretty sure I already knew that as well, Detective.
Well, if you can remember all that, then welcome to the world of pros. IW Ace Investigator, class dismissed.
And all I wanted was an update about the investigation. It does make me think. I wonder if there's anything else to do with this stuff. I already checked this area earlier, but it never hurts to take another look. It doesn't look like there's anything I can deduce through here. We've clearly found this thing. Anything that I can deduce using this? Absolutely not. Alright then. So with that said, let's see if I can present some stuff to you. What do you think of this master key?
I'm just a lovely detective, so I'm not sure what I should do with that other than arrest it. Is that the only talent you have? Oh, wait.
So what do you think about this thingy? Damn it. Okay, more about the safe.
I had no idea you had one of those things. I mean, I thought I knew everything there is to know about you, Mr. Edgeworth. I feel like I've caught a glimpse of the hidden side of Miles Edgeworth.
Well, there's a great deal you don't know about me.
At least I hope so.
How about these guns?
The victim's gun, huh? It's the same model as mine.
A tool used to protect lives, yet one that can also take lives away. Those who take a gun in hand and wield a great responsibility. I hope you understand that.
I don't really use my gun at all, sir. The only time I would use this baby is when I'm fighting a hot duel with a convict to look ultra cool.
You were doing so well until that last bit. Okay, what do you think about the victim? Nothing about the victim. Great. Hey, look, I'm a prosecutor.
Your prosecutor's badge is really tiny compared to my police badge. Oh, but it's really cool, sir. Much, much cooler than my badge could ever be.
There's no need to suck up to me, Detective.
Yeah.
Alright, so I can't present any of that stuff to you. So what about you? Oh, whoops. Oh, damn. Skip. I didn't mean to press that. Did I not present? Okay, maybe I can present the master key again. So when did you discover that the master key was missing?
Okay, not just gone, it was stolen. Okay, got that information. And then there was just this cutscene, so nothing different. What about this book? I'm pretty sure... Actually, no, I presented, like, all this stuff to you, so... I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. 1202. These 4 numbers on a number plate along proclaim this to be my office. Whoops. Hey! These number plates slide right out, sir! They have to be able to take the plate off when a room becomes vacant, you know? Although, the idea that it can be so easily removed is kind of... terrifying. I really doubt there's going to be anything more with the mahogany door, but... Right. Meh. Well, your full potential, that's a poignant trait that anyone can admire. I see, so you're saying, sir, that me being the best thing ever, best for everyone? Right. That long pause wasn't exactly reassuring, sir. So, what about my knob? I don't see any signs of forced entry. And according to the guard, no signs that the lock was picked either, sir. Further, sir, my god. That's a very big clue that I read the wrong line somewhere when that sir shows up at the end. Oh god! You're taking my lines. Meaning that the door really was opened with a key. Did you happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob? Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle. Wipe, they say. Whoever this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. Crap. See, nothing to do with any hinges as well. And then nothing to do with that stuff. I'm wondering if maybe I can throw together some logic now. Here, I'm going to save real quick. Just to make sure we're covered. 7. Splidave. Okay. So, if we think about all this stuff. Another handgun. Other than the victim's gun that I found, could there be another gun in play here? The key was used to unlock unlock Portsmouth office at 12 a.m., 1:30 a.m. And then the master key was stolen at approximately 1 a.m. until 12:30. Yeah, I feel like this stuff is absolutely connected. Yep, got it. Miss Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story. What? No way, pal. I mean, sir. You said that you locked up Mr. Portman's office at around 1:30 a.m., correct? However, the master key had already been stolen at that time. Wow! Nothing gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw that contradiction like a pro. I totally forgot all about that, but thanks to you, I remember it now. You're right. It was around that very time I realized the master key was missing. And, well, I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir. You pretended? Yeah, I used my house key and made it look like I was locking up, sir. So in actuality, you never did relock that door then? Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly. Ooh. Saucy. So that means we could go in there. Why not break entering? Neato. Oh, why not? Oh, hey, I can deduce now. Wait, the door's locked. Yeah, that's right. So that doesn't make any sense. Is this spot somehow
connected to any of the evidence I hold. Miss Bird unlocked the door, but Master Key was stolen, so she could not lock it up. But it's locked now! There's a contradiction here between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Bird has said is true, then why is this door locked tight?
You know, you're right.
Miss Bird, are you sure you didn't relock this door? I am certain of it, sir. And I don't think Mr. Portsman noticed it himself that I hadn't.
Which means... What, sir?
It either means that he actually does have the key to his office, or that the door Miss Bird opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one.
She opened a different door? But how can you prove that?
There's an easy way to find out. All we need to do is... we need to examine these. Prints on the master key. Prints on the doorknob. Prints on the number plate. Nobody would be touching the number plates. Oh no. Prints on the doorknob. Doorknob. It would make sense. That's where most fingerprints would be. The prints on the doorknob will tell us everything.
Hey, you. Yeah, you, pal. Do us a favor and see what you can lift from this, okay? So, what'd you find out?
There's no need for such belligerent nostril-flaring, detective. Sir, I have found only Mr. Portsman and Mr. Fate's prints on this doorknob. Oh, dear God. So only 2 people's prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive.
I'm lost, sir.
Thinking logically, a certain other person's prints should be on this knob as well. Now then, whose prints should also be on this knob? There should be Maggie's prints, but there are not. Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked this door are absent?
You mean...
Yes, the door that Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one. So this is where the door numbers are going to come into play. I understand.
What have we here?
Oh! I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious nook and cranny. There's one particular suspicious nook and cranny I can see. But... is this basketball property of Mr. Portsman? Yes, sir! He's always ready for a match.
Basketball, soccer, dodgeball, tennis. Doesn't matter what sport it is, he's game. Although I think it'd be a little hard to play tennis with this ball.
That isn't the point you should be focusing on, detective.
You're right, sir. No, I know what I should be focusing on. Bad, Mr. Portsman. Someone should teach him to clean his toys up after he's done playing.
I think we've reached the end of this conversation. Oh, so angry. I do notice that the imprint of the basketball hoop seems to be slightly moved.
What's this? What are you looking at, sir? Oh, hey, how about a game?
That's okay, detective. I just found the position of the hoop to be a little off.
Hey, you're right, sir. I guess it shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk.
The positioning of the hoop is definitely unnatural. I'd better take note of this. It's a little bit weird to be taking note of the hoop, but okay. Then we have this. Boy, that classic synth horn sound. Like the synth MIDI horn that you get on GBA and DS games. My god. What is this?
Looks like a scrap of paper. I'll get it, sir. Let's see. Oh, there's something written on it.
I brought the 3 pieces of evidence by, just like we talked about on the phone. But it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up to you later, buddy. It looks like a note from the victim.
Yeah, and it's for Mr. Portsman.
Interesting. Investigation complete. And my health is back, thank God. I messed it up quite a bit the last time. Alright. Poking around in this hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely.
How so, sir?
In a variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat with the real culprit of this case.
You know who the killer is? Wow, Mr. Edgeworth!
As long as my logic is sound, then yes. The mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Portsman.
What? Mr. Portsman?
I knew it! That's exactly what my logic senses were telling me too! I suspected it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being the killer, sir!
That is anything but logical. Lady and gentlemen, prepare yourself. Come with me. It's time to knock on truth's door.
Heh.
Yeah, let's have a chat with him. How about that? March 14th, 5:12 a.m. High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. Mr. Portsman, I finished processing the bloody letter, sir. All right, let's take a gander at it. Pass it here. Okay, looking good. You there, take care of this.
Whoa!
Oh. Hey, you made the pass. Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe.
And in the line for you, Portsman! We got you now!
Call off your dog, Mr. Edgeworth. Is this some kind of joke? It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jacques Portsman, that you are the guilty party in this case. You must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So, I guess you could stay, if you promise to stay out of our way. You intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job. I can see right through the unsightly paper-thin mask you wear upon your cowl. Who would have ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? Mm-hmm. Don't you say those words in front of me. The legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 long years. But there was always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. Really teaches me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know? Are you done trying to play mind games with me, because they won't work? The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours for is explaining yourself. Although that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Oh no, I believe this basketball game has just started. Well, aren't we full of ourselves? Even though you have yet to prove anything. Go time! Mr. Portsman's rebuttal. I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides how may I ask? Do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. Sorry, but we are not finished yet. Boy, you're stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something? I'll show you what I'm basing my accusations on. With evidence. Rebuttal. So, first off, let me just take a quick look at all the things I can present to him. And it's all this stuff. My guess is that I'm going to be presenting a lot of new stuff. Okay, this can open every office door. It was stolen from the security office. And then this thing. Let me just take a look and see if I can find the thing I'm supposed to be pressing on and presenting. There's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how may I ask do you propose I unlock your door and got in here? Right. Oh, I think I know. Right, it was stolen from the security. I think this is absolutely it. Yep. I believe you were able to open my office door with the master key, no less. Wait. Hold on for a sec. I never laid a finger on that key, as you already know. Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. That's right. You used your finger to direct this person to open my door with the key. You bastard. You had asked Mr. Bird to open your own office door for you, yes? Yeah, I kind of forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know? But the room you had Miss Bird open at that time was not your own, was it? What? You have quite the imagination. But why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we? I'm certain that it was Mr. Portsman's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure I was opening the right door, sir. See? Miss Bird backs up my story. Yet, what if you had misled her to fool her into thinking what you wanted? How do you suppose I did that? By switching the number plates on our doors, for example. That's right, they do slide out pretty easily. Furthermore, you then use one other thing to give a very strong impression. That the door she was opening was yours and not in fact mine. What was it that made Mr. Portsman use? Okay, that would have to be the basketball hoop, because you moved it in front of his door. What? The basketball hoop, sir? It's quite the peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone a hallway in this building. Which is why it left an unusually strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to sit just outside the office of a peculiar prosecutor. It's very true, sir, because there was a basketball hoop sitting there. I thought the door I was opening had to be Mr. Portsman. There are signs that the hoop had been moved. To sit in front of my office, to be sure. I see. So that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip. But I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. Alright. Another statement. Fine. Bring it. Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. So he intends to claim his innocence to the end, does he? I'm as pure and innocent as my jacket. And Miss Bird is as dirty and as guilty as the jacket she wears. My God. Now all I can think about is that one damn Tide meme. God damn it, Tide. I hate it when a commercial successfully, makes itself a meme. My jacket's not dirty. I'll have you know I just washed it yesterday. Please calm down, for I intend to show who is the one truly covered in slime here. Conjecture's rebuttal. Now you're spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. Alright, so what piece of evidence do I have to contradict this? Pages pertaining to a case, and then this thing was outside the room. Found under the door for the absent Portsman. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I brought the 3 pieces of evidence by, just like we talked about on the phone. But it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up to you later. I'm gonna try and present this. Objection! Yep. You weren't in. That was a lie. What are you talking about? How is that a lie? This is a note that the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman. A note? It was left under your door, or did you not notice? And right here it says, "But you're out." Shit. You were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then, where were you and what were you doing? Shall I explain it in full detail for you? You were busy snooping around in my room, the very room you had Miss Bird open for you. That's just nonsense. You have no evidence that I made the girl open your door for me. Oh, but I do. I have very decisive evidence.
No way! This is proof positive that you had Miss Bird open the door. Oh, yeah. So let me see here.
Prints were not found on the doorknob.
I had your door dusted for prints.
My door? What for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time.
You're right. I didn't find anything. And definitely not Miss Bird's fingerprints.
Her prints? Why did they have to do with anything?
Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened your door, then her prints should naturally be on the doorknob she touched. Further, all the prints on my office door knobs have been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Miss Bird's fingerprints were on them. Don't you think it's time you gave up your charade? We know you you stole into my office with the... I feel like that's supposed to be the word stroll. We know you strolled into my office with the intent of stealing something from me. And Detective Faith found you out. Possibly because he heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. As I said when you had the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. Oh, God, no. Badness. And just what's so funny, pal?
Well, the look of stiff seriousness in the face of this office's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me, is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world.
What?
Mr. Edgeworth just explained it all. He even backed it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery and just admit to the crime already. And as I said earlier, it's all so circumstantial, so full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints. Well, I can readily confess that I had wiped that knob down well. I'm a little obsessive-compulsive, you see? I didn't want to touch a doorknob that you had touched, which is why I wiped the knob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense that only Jim's and my own prints would be on there.
You made that up just now, didn't you?
Furthermore, as for the note Jim left for me, do you know exactly when that was? For all we know, he could have left it there before I arrived at the office. Like, early evening, for example?
Are you saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway?
Hey, even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters. Although, that's no excuse. Now that's just a flat-out lie. There's no way you didn't notice a note that size. Oh, but you can't prove that, can you? Say something, Mr. Edgeworth. Back me up here, sir.
Portsman makes a good point. I can't prove that he didn't simply overlook it.
Besides, I have an airtight alibi.
Airtight, you say?
I only realized that I had one just now as we were talking. I guess it would have been better for all of us just told you sooner. Fine, we'll shoot this one down too. Keep making holes, whatever. I'll fill all of them. If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 a.m., correct? And it was then that you had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi. What were you doing down there?
Do you really think it's that perfect?
Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like. You'll see for yourself.
Detective Gumshoe! Sir, yes, sir. I'll go check out his alibi, sir. Be right back. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portsman said. The guys down at Criminal Affairs said they saw him at around 2 a.m.
You see? You could have killed somebody at like 1:30. Or, actually, no, the killing actually happened at 2. Specifically 2:03. Shit. And that's right. Miles saw him. Ah, crap.
All the evidence points to him being the culprit, so there must be a contradictory point in his alibi somewhere.
Rebuttal. Alright, so maybe I need to be pressing stuff, so I'm gonna... Here, real quick. I'm doing good. I'm gonna save. Just for my safety and my sake. I wonder who all these fancy silhouettes are in the background. Let's see. The one on the right looks to be Gumshoe. I assume the one in the center is probably Edgeworth. The other ones, I have no idea. They're kind of in cowboy stances, just a little bit. You are correct. It was around 2 a.m. Are you sure? It's really important to me that you're spot on with the time. I remember checking my watch then, and make no mistake, it was 2. Oh, giving testimony like a pro. Okay, so you came back to your office at 2. And it was then that you had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. It is as you say, however... Yes, however, you're the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So, tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me who you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see. How come now? I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you?
I'm beginning to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here.
Ah, well, doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in Criminal Affairs.
So you paid the Criminal Affairs Department a visit?
Yep. Right after I left the prosecutor building, I headed straight for the precinct. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi.
Well, we did go and ask around to confirm your testimony.
And it was just as I said, right?
Yes, sir. A number of detectives said that they saw you at around that time.
See, I have the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had up my sleeve. Why are you talking about the fact that you have aces?
Yeah. It's impossible. He actually does have the perfect alibi.
What's wrong? Why the sudden sullen look on your face?
Can't you say anything back, Mr. Edgeworth?
I think we've reached the end of the line, and it's time to get off this crazy train. You there, sir? Please escort the young lady out, but remember to be gentle.
Maggie!
Detective Gumshoe! Don't do this, you fool, you bastard. I will take you down.
Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn this situation around. If only I had a clue. Did I miss something that helped me cast doubt on his alibi?
Ooh, can I do logic right on the spot?
I need to calmly think this through one more time and with logic.
The intruder I met could not have been Portsman, then okay. Let's see. Oh, hey! Here's an idea. That was somebody entirely differently. Because why the hell would you mix up a shelf twice?
Evidence points to the shelves being disturbed once before and once after the murder. But who is to say that the person who did the second time is the same as the first? Which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight.
Surprise! Maybe the victim and his killer weren't the only visitors to my office tonight. There was another handgun at some point.
If indeed there were two culprits, then that resolves the contradiction behind our murder weapon.
I thought that maybe, like, there would be no logic left over after it was over, so I'm like, there's a lot of logic sitting in here. I wonder when the moment comes where all of it squares away, so, hey, this is pretty much exactly it.
Despite the fact that there are 2 bullets here in this room, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once, leaving the possibility that the other bullet was fired from the other visitor's gun. Furthermore, if we suppose that the second culprit's gun was the only one that was pointed at my back, the one pointed at my back. Mr. Portsman, it seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case.
Great. So you finally come to your senses? Mr. Edgeworth!
Sir, what are you saying? This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I'd assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case.
What do you mean?
The person I ran into was just your average thief.
Thief? But, sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts?
Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality, 2 culprits
stole into my office tonight. Oh my god. Please. Strolled into my office.
What do you mean 2?
It explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice and how there were 2 guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office.
Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know.
If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Now then, returning to my scenario. Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time.
So then, this would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right?
Correct. And then, just when he was about to look somewhere else, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith?
But why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir?
He probably had business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office, would be my guess.
Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right?
And he must have thought it was odd, so he came into the office to check it out.
Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then...
Bingo.
He killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he had also left the fake dying message behind.
You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that?
Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated.
There was another?
Visitor, sir?
Yes, and this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. And now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so they stole the master key from the security guard's room, and then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seemed the thief found their prize. The stolen 0 file, right, sir?
Correct. Only just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter.
So the shelves getting messed up twice, and the 2 bullets. It was all because 2 different people were doing those things at 2 different times.
Precisely. So now do you see, Mr. Portsman? The person I met was just a thief, and was not, in fact, Mr. Faith's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant, because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit. Damn it, and he's still smug. After all that nonsense, fine, whatever.
What's so funny, pal?
Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything.
Of course it does. It's Mr. Edgeworth, after all.
But, you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there's still one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor.
Mr. Edgeworth, you can't let him get away with that, sir.
But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point. Don't say that, sir!
I don't believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something. I must.
You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. If the person you met really was just a plain old thief, then why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. Oh, what do you have to say to me, you bastard? That thief you ran into shouldn't be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? We shouldn't be out there looking for the thief right now. They might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at Criminal Affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left. Whatever, I have a bloody book. I think I can make this work.
So you think we should be out there looking for the thief?
Of course. Now isn't the time to be wasting time on dead-end discussions.
I don't think it's all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? I know he's lying. I know he was here, at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it.
Alright. I was down at Criminal Affairs, so I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left. I know he's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. Right? This is very funky freaking music. Saving. Holy hell. There we go. Alright, let's just press him. Actually, no, I wouldn't. Why not? That's elementary. The dying message, of course. Mr. Fate's killer very clearly left those letters on the spines of those files. And it was after they were on there that the thief stole one of them.
You mean the 0 files, right?
And that's how we also know the letters themselves were a setup and not from Mr. Faith. If the thief was the killer, do you think they would try to undermine themselves? Maybe the killer just didn't think of that either. Yeah, that must be it. Maybe, just maybe... We should be out there looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby.
Once escaped, I highly doubt a thief would linger nearby.
Well, you never know. Maybe they didn't get what they were really after.
Oh, you talk like you know quite a bit about this thief.
It's nothing like that. I have no idea about anything. After all, I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room.
But according to Mr. Faith's note...
Hold on, I thought we already cleared that up. Didn't we say that Jim left that note for me in the early evening? If you have proof that he had left it at a different time, say just before he was murdered.
I don't have any, no.
You see? So I insist again that I was in my office the entire time. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at Criminal Affairs.
Why didn't you go there with Mr. Faith?
That's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. You know, the sofas in the hallway. He likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits.
And what are the evidence he brought?
There were things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items. A gun and a pendant.
Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks.
Ooh, brought me 2 items. A gun and a pendant that are related to yesterday's case. That feels like something I should probably be either pressing or presenting on.
A gun and a pendant.
Yes, this gun, which was the murder weapon. And this pendant, which belonged to the victim.
And why were you taking them to Criminal Affairs?
There was something in a past case file I wanted to compare these two to. But all this has nothing to do with the case right now. Anyway, I believe you'll find the long paper trail I left to be your satisfaction.
This is all matching up with what Detective Gumshoe found out.
So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left.
I can't expect you to know, can I?
No, but I guess you can expect me to take a guess based on logical deductions.
Oh, then let's see you deduce.
Jim waited for me to leave and then stole the master key. For the purpose of sneaking into your room, of course. And that's when Miss Bird caught him red-handed and the murder occurred. It's all exactly as I'd laid out earlier.
Really?
Right. He brought 2 items, a gun and a pendant. Really? Well, let's think about this one here. Brought a gun and a pendant, really. Okay, so the victim's revolver. Issued to the victim and believed to be the murder weapon. Wait, I mean... No, this isn't the gun. This wasn't the murder weapon. Was it? Oh, God. No, I fucked this up.
Mr. Portsman, there's a large flaw in your logic.
Really? I think it holds up rather well, actually. What do you think's wrong with it?
Yeah, nothing. Let's move on. This isn't like you at all, sir. Concentrate. That was careless of me. I can't afford to do that, or the truth will slowly slip away. Remain calm, Miles.
It's the only way. Alright. Gun and a pendant, eh? Wait! Wait! Yes! Because this thing says there were 3 items. There we go. I think that's it. Gotcha.
Only 2 pieces. I believe the proper phrase here is, you fail...
Excuse me?
You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me.
What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you.
Well, here's a piece I think you should read carefully.
It says that Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces.
Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsman.
I can't believe to get tripped up by simple arithmetic, rather.
Where is the missing piece of evidence?
It's...
You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face.
You've seen it time and time again in the court.
Detective Gumshoe! You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe.
Unwarranted checks. Don't come any closer! I'm warning you!
This is all part of the investigation. Pal, so don't even think about stopping me.
No!
Hey, what's this? You had this on him, sir. Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. Why would he hide something like that? There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would unequivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Shall we watch? Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. For the section of the tape that will drive the last nail into his coffin.
Oh, neat. Okay. KG8 incident. Oh boy, a new incident.
The KG8 incident. That's a police case, sir. Does that mean the video was evidence from that case? Interesting. However, what's recorded on this isn't what's important right now. Let's give the casing a thorough once-over.
Very well, what do we got?
Holy shit. God, that's blood, isn't it? Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh. You mean this might be Detective Fate's blood?
Oh boy. No! You've got it all wrong!
No amount of denial can save you. You have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video.
Yeah, it's totally suspicious.
Was it at the moment of his death? Did Detective Faith have this videotape on his personage when you killed him?
You know very well there's no way to prove that.
Not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints? If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Faith.
No! Impossible! I'm... Oh god, he's jumping through gold. Oh, that's not good for you. Smiles as he dies. The Russian judge has given him a 5.
Mr. Portsman has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir. Very good. And the results we got back from the lab tech on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. The blood work came back and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And as a bonus, they were also able to lift a few Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Edgeworth.
I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir.
There was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies.
Oh, it was nothing. Really, compared to what I've been through, I mean, I consider myself lucky that I was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir. If it had been a holdup or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from a goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. No.
Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail.
You wouldn't know. Like, bad juju isn't something that you can screen for. Unless you bring in, like, I don't know, like somebody that is very, very intrinsically tied into voodoo. I don't know, maybe a witch doctor.
You know something, sir? That Mr. Portman really was one corrupt prosecutor.
And why would you say he was corrupt?
Well, I heard there were a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. There's even rumors about how some of the evidence he uses is forged, sir.
Forged evidence, huh? Yeah, it's kind of the word that you do not say as a prosecutor or a defense attorney.
And they say he even decided not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons.
Oh, that guy was a complete disgrace to the entire profession.
We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office. Yeah, whenever we got near the topic, he just clammed up.
Although we can be pretty certain it was to steal something.
This is between you and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes.
Oh? Well. With Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to that rumor. It would seem that we have heard... we haven't learned the last of this.
The Mr. Portsman isn't the bad guy?
I didn't say that, but rather that there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance to this piece of evidence.
Well, I mean, we never really figured out exactly why it was... Well, alright, they were probably looking for something during that whole thing. We're still not entirely sure why these files were stolen.
The person who stole this file, the other villain of the night.
Yeah, I wonder who it was.
And what happened to the stolen pages? I wonder, who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint?
Mr. Edgeworth, sir?
Yes?
I came across this while I was processing your office, sir. This car, oh my god, a calling card. It's adorable.
What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there?
It is not just any bird. It's the mark of the raven, a three-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, Detective.
Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? The great thief everyone's talking about?
Yes. It's the mark of the great thief Yatagara... Oh my god.
Yatagarasu. Okay. Memorize.
Under the mark of the legendary bird, the Yatagarasu is noble to the end. Modern Robin Hood. Ooh. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagarasu appears and vanishes at will. Although we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. The theft is always performed in silence and always with perfection. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is set forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media.
Boy, that's not tasteful. At least some kind of a calling card beforehand. What was that one murder that... oh god, in that one... The one case with the vase? I'm trying to remember that one. That was a long-ass time ago.
Along with this single card. Although it's been a while since the Yatagaratsu's last appearance.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth. Look, something's written on the back.
What? Let me see.
It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files.
So the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yatagaratsu. Yatagaratsu. Organization. Quite a few key words are popping up in this mystery. Murder in my office. The return of the great thief Yatagaratsu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming. For they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. Ooh.
So now we're doing a little bit of a jump backwards in time. Brand new episode. Turnabout Airlines. Ooh, planes! Okay, well, we're going to save here. And we've been going for a while. I think this will about do it for the show. Jeez, yeah. DS cards take a very long time to save, don't they? That was episode 1. Now episode 2 is going to be next. Turnabout Airlines. And I guess we'll check that out in the next time. This has been fun so far. And it's especially been fun with the brand new setup that I got going on here. I hope it's nice and clear. Again, the bottom screen should be like 1-to-1 pixel ratio on with the ratio that I have for the stream. The top one tends to be the most important one, especially in these, like any of these Ace Attorney games. I keep wanting to say Phoenix Wright games, for God's sakes. Sorry, fanboy. But anyways, I think that will do it for the stream tonight. I need to go pee pretty soon, so yes. So thanks everybody who popped into the chat. I appreciate it. If you want to take a look at this episode after it's done, I'm going to be taking it. I might edit it. I don't know. I didn't exactly fail, per se. I don't know. I'll think about it, and then I'll be uploading it to the YouTube channel sometime after it's done being processed or whatever. I stream on Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays, all of them starting at around 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. So I'll be playing this. Some other games that I'm playing. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm thinking about playing that tomorrow, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see. I kind of feel like doing just some chill stuff, because I've been doing a whole lot of fixing behind the scenes, including real fun project involving backing up a whole bunch of the stream archive, which I only just recently finished that today. Okay, what are the games? Let me see. I'm still waiting for the Stardew Valley multiplayer update. That's going to be fun. As well as a couple other things. Anyways, yes, like I said, I got to go to the bathroom, so I think I'm going to cut it off of there. And thanks for coming out. See you next time.